Rebel salute, rebel salute, rebel salute. How you guys doing, wherever you are? This is Kenya Revolutionary. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Join in the studio if you want to have a discussion, correct me, or just give your two cents on the issue, on that topic. The topic today, as you can see, Azimio is falling apart and ODM is trying to pick up the pieces, okay? Now, I will be very brief, very brief. I'll be 30 minutes in because I'm late over technical difficulties earlier. Thank you for one of the guys who told me that they couldn't hear the audio, so I had to kind of readjust, okay? Let me see if everything is okay now because I was trying to pick up. All right. Okay, so let's get to the topic. Let me sip this coffee. Always drink coffee. All right, so if you want to join the discussion again, here's the link. It's on the chat. For those of you who are on YouTube, you can see it on the chat. If you are on X, watching on the X, you can see it. You can look at the whatever, copy it, log in the studio. Unaweza ukaniingia na unikosoe if you think I'm saying something crazy. Get in, tell me what I'm saying that's crazy. But anyway, I'll start with this whole 3-day or 1 week, whatever the case is, tour of Raila Odinga in Nyanza province. Raila Odinga is rallying up his supporters, youth in Nyanza province, to register for the party, register to the party, okay? He wants to solidify his support in Nyanza province, okay? That's his base, primary base. It's been known that, okay? Now, why is he doing this? It's not even... We're barely into 1 year since in Ruto's rule. It's 2023. The next election is 2027. Why is he worried about Ruto making inroads in Nyanza province? Okay, why does he need to rally his troops this early? Okay, well, here's my take on this. Number one, Kenya Kwanza understands one thing. Okay, Kenya Kwanza understands that if the leaders from the Nyanza province. I know Kenya Kwanza is not popular in Nyanza province. Let's just face it, okay? But they learned something. We can take an example of Owalo, Obado, and the Homa Bay County governor. What's her name? Gladys Wanga. Okay? Obado showed us that if the governor performs, provides for the people who voted him in, regardless of what the party thinks about him, whether they like him or not, the people who he provides services for, doing what he was voted there to do, will always stand behind him. Same thing with Wanga. Gladys Wanga is one of the best performing governors in Kenya. And you can see she usually does something that most politicians from the Nyanza province, ODM to be particular, cannot get away with, which is meet with, whether it's the president, who most of the Azimio top brass think is illegitimate, okay? And they actually, if you are somebody from a politician from Nyanza province and is an ODM member, if you meet the president, you will be in hot soup. You see how Ojienda and Jalas and his friends, they are going under that tribunal, whatever the case is going on. They are trying to kick them out of the party simply because they met the president. But Gladys Wanga always pulls this off. She met Ruto more than twice now when Ruto toured the Nyanza province and met Murkomen, okay? And she never was reprimanded by the party. In fact, it was never an issue, okay? So they can't even bring in accusations saying that she's legitimizing Ruto as the president, okay? Because you remember, Raila has not fully embraced Ruto, accepted that Ruto is the president of Kenya, okay? But the thing is, they understand that Gladys Wanga is a good governor. She provides for her people. She's very likable. The people that voted her in like her. So she's strong in, is it Homa Bay? Yes. So they like her. So trying to reprimand her might, backfire on the Azimio, on the ODM party. That's why she can pull that off. Now, Orengo has done the same thing, but Orengo, let's be clear. Orengo was put there because of Raila Odinga. Orengo has been a friend of Raila Odinga for years now, okay? It's been more than 30 years. They go way back, okay? They go way back like peanut butter and jelly, okay? So even though Orengo is facing these accusations, these allegations of corruption and all this nonsense, Orengo will still win Siaya County because that's where Raila Odinga is actually from. And his brother, Oburu, is a senator, I guess, and the chief finance guy, officer of Siaya, is actually one of the relatives of the Odingas. So Siaya, Orengo is safe. He can pull off this nonsense. He can be corrupt and still survive because he still has the base. He has the blessings of the Raila Odinga and his family. So it would be hard to take him out. But Kenya Kwanza understands one thing, and one thing that they're doing silently. They are making inroads in Nyanza province, which is Baba's bedroom. Let's just say that, using that term. They're making inroads silently by doing what they have watched Gladys Wanga do, okay? Which is provide for the people. I'll give you an example. Owalo has been, doing some stuff for the people that makes people happy. I remember a few weeks ago, he provided free Wi-Fi. He brought free Wi-Fi in this market somewhere in Nyanza province. Just last week, he bought Gor Mahia, a team bus, the state of the art. That bus, the huge, wonderful, beautiful bus for Gor Mahia. For those who know Nyanza province, Gor Mahia is everything. That's the local team that people like, and it's very popular among Nyanza province people. So Owalo is doing these wonderful things. And also, the young man, Omondi, who is, I forgot his first name. He's in the Ruto's cabinet also. Just last week, he went to a school. I forgot the name of the school. Was it in Soba or somewhere else? I forgot. But he actually provided money to remodel the school, to buy some chairs and some desks and stuff like that, to repaint the school, make it look nice, okay? He's doing things to provide for the people. One thing is for sure, if you do good by the people, they will remember you. That's why I kept on using the example of Obado. Obado, when ODM wanted to kick him out, the people rose and stood with him and said, no, this guy is going nowhere because this guy is providing for us. For example, right now, if we were to try to get Gladys Wanga out of ODM for whatever reason, okay? The people of Homa Bay will be like, no. You cannot take away Gladys Wanga because Gladys Wanga has been doing wonderful things for her constituency, okay? So that's the point I'm making. And that's what Ruto is using, is making sure his lieutenants in Nyanza province are providing services and goods and goodies to the Wananchi so that the Wananchi will not forget the good that they've done. So when come 2027, they'll be having some relevance, even popularity. So people might not reject Raila in Nyanza province, but if somebody like Owalo, let's say, runs for governor of wherever he's from, Nyakach, whatever, he might win on a UDA ticket or a Kenya Kwanza ticket because, he has a track record of providing services and bringing goodies to the people that benefits the people. You understand? You get the drift? Okay. So Raila caught wind of this, okay, and was like, we have to go back to Nyanza province and revitalize, solidify our support. Let's register these young folks to make sure that we have ODM on lock, okay, in Nyanza province. Because I told you, Azimio is falling apart. Ask yourself this question. How popular is ODM outside of Nyanza province? How popular is it? Somebody answer that question for me. How popular is ODM outside of Nyanza province? I'll wait. You can argue that they have some popularity in Nairobi, okay, because of the heavy presence of Luos and some Luhyas, because Luhyas are also divided, okay? Let's not get that twisted. Luhyas are also divided, but you can argue that in Nairobi, okay, there's because of not only Jalas might not be popular anymore, but let's say what's his name, Babu Owino's influence, okay? Babu Owino's influence, and okay, of course, Kibera is have a heavy population of Luos. So yes, outside of Nyanza province, we can argue maybe Nairobi, but I can't guarantee that Raila Odinga will win in Nairobi County today. I'm not talking about him running as governor, but if he was running for presidency, you can't guarantee his win because Nairobi is a metropolitan area. There's everyone over there. Because if you're going to count votes according to tribal blocks, the people who will vote for Raila Odinga are probably the Luos, of course, and maybe Kambas, depending on where Kalonzo will fit in 2027. Because remember, and I'll mention Kalonzo in a minute, okay? So what I'm trying to say is this. Outside of Nyanza province, Raila is not guaranteed any votes, okay? Now, we can look at Coast province. Coast province, if you look at it, all his allies are shaky. Let's start with Hassan Joho. Hassan Joho was the closest lieutenant to Raila Odinga. We all know that. But Hassan Joho has been very quiet, and the last time we heard from him, he made it clear that he does not mind working with the president and working with Kenya Kwanza politicians. He met there with Amason Kingi and Sharif Nasir's son and others, okay? He made it very clear that sisi kama watu wa Mombasa, we shall cooperate, okay? And Ruto always goes to Mombasa and bring goodies, okay? So that's a clear sign. If your closest lieutenant, somebody like Hassan Joho, is now changing tune, is like warming up to President Ruto, okay? You have to be concerned, okay? Now, Azimio as it is right now is in a very delicate, dangerous place, okay? The coalition, the main parties, the big parties that make up this coalition, ODM, the former party that was still there was Jubilee, and now Wiper. But Jubilee, as we know, has left ODM, okay, officially. Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega were like, hey, we're out of here. We're not staying in this coalition. We lost the elections. There's nothing we are gaining in here. We're out, okay? Uhuru, we took this party from Uhuru. We're out, okay? Martha Karua, she didn't bring her party. She just brought herself. Now she has started that Kamwene party, central province-based party. He formed that with Kioni. That's a sign. It's not a good sign. It's a sign that, hey, listen, if things go south, if I'm not keep on seeing things how they're going, I might jump ship and stick with Kamwene or Kamene, whatever the case is. And like I said in my previous life, this might be used as a bargaining chip to negotiate a deal with the ruling party, which is Kenya Kwanza, all right? Because I don't see the reason why Martha Karua and Kioni should start a political party while they're already in Azimio, the coalition. Why will they start that, okay? It doesn't make sense, all right? Remember, Jubilee, if you don't know the dynamics of Kenyan politics, Jubilee basically was a vehicle for the Kikuyu Central Province people, okay? The voting bloc for the Central Province, okay? So, let's look at Wiper. Wiper is the third major party in the Azimio coalition. Wiper is dependent on the position of their leader, Kalonzo Musyoka. There's talk, there's debate within Azimio whether Raila should run in 2027 or should they let Kalonzo Musyoka to run in 2027. Kalonzo Musyoka, a few days ago, yesterday or the day before that, he said that he's the best fitted guy to run against Ruto. Okay, of course, Ruto a few weeks ago when he had the idea of Kalonzo running against him, he just started laughing because he knows Kalonzo Musyoka is not going to beat him, and he might be right. Okay, I think Ruto has more clout than Kalonzo Musyoka. Now, what happens if Raila says, because yesterday the news was telling us that Raila hinted that he might run in 2027. He might run for presidency in 2027. What happens to Kalonzo Musyoka if Raila said, you know what, I'm running in 2027? Do you think Kalonzo Musyoka will stay in Azimio if he clearly understands that if Raila declares that he'll be running in 2027. I do not think so. Kalonzo will take his Wiper party and jump ship. Remember, this guy has a history. There's a reason why Raila actually gave him the name Watermelon. Okay? He's the Katikati guy. Remember 2007? Even when the ODM was formed, he wanted to run with that ODM Machungwa party. Remember that? Remember, Raila, Kalonzo is not to be trusted. Okay? So I don't see how Raila Odinga can endorse Kalonzo in 2027 and say, hey, this is somebody endorsed. I know he gave him a lot of props when they had the homecoming, whatever the case. Was it a wedding or whatever the case, when Raila stood up and say, hey, this is a guy who have stood up with me and he's still with us and whatever. Gave him a lot of plaudits before he came and spoke. But as far as running as for president, I do not think Raila Odinga will let Kalonzo Musyoka run for president. I do not think that. And I don't think most of the Nyanza province will vote for Kalonzo Musyoka, okay? Because this guy has all Ruto has to do is to remind Kenyans of how devious, okay, how self-serving Kalonzo Musyoka has been historically. Remember, when ODM was being formed, when they were all on ODM, Ruto was on ODM, Raila was on ODM, Uhuru Kenyatta was ODM, all them people were ODM, Balala, all of them. Kalonzo alikimbia na certificate bwana. Alikuwa anataka kukimbia na hiyo party, okay? Then Raila outplayed him. Then once the 2007 happened, after Kibaki, rigged the elections and refused to cede power, what did Kalonzo do? What did Kalonzo do? Kalonzo Musyoka saw an opportunity. He was bought akapita katikati, and he found himself being what? The deputy president of Kibaki. Was it deputy or vice president? I think it was vice president of Kibaki, okay? He was given that chair and he ran at the first opportunity. So Kalonzo Musyoka is not to be trusted. And let's go 2017. 2017, when Raila Odinga went to Chukua Kipao, when he was going to be sworn in at Uhuru Park, Kalonzo Musyoka was lost, was nowhere to be seen. Him and Musalia Mudavadi. At least Musalia Mudavadi saw the light and was like, you know what? I'm not staying here. I'm out. I'm going with the Ruto this time. Okay? But Kalonzo Musyoka was one of the people who conveniently didn't show up during the swearing in of Raila Odinga as the people's president. So these are the things that if Ruto reminds Kenyan people that, hey, this Kalonzo guy, he's, watermelon. And Raila gave him that name, Watermelon. So I don't think Kalonzo Musyoka has the gravitas. He doesn't have the clout. He doesn't have the umph to run for president. He's not a heavyweight, okay? He's been deemed as somebody who is very unstable, somebody who is not to be trusted, okay? And he has made it clear that he thinks he's the best guy fitted to run against Ruto. Where does that leave the ODM, the Raila staunch supporters, the Nyanza province people, the likes of Mbadi, the likes of Babu Oweno? Are they going to accept that Kalonzo is their guy? Are they going to rally behind Kalonzo? Okay? And if Martha Karua is still in Azimio, do you think Martha Karua shall be okay with Kalonzo running for presidency while Martha Karua was the vice president, was running as the vice, okay, of Raila Odinga? She will think that Kalonzo is going mbele yake, okay? Because if Raila, last election, Raila ran as the candidate, the main candidate for president, and his vice president was going to be Martha Karua, okay? So if we are going to the next election and, okay, Kalonzo Musyoka is endorsed by Raila Odinga, it will be a betrayal to Martha Karua, because she'll feel like, I was the number 2 guy. I was with you during this mandamano and all this stuff. I was mama. I was right behind you as the vice president. But now in 2027, you're endorsing Kalonzo Musyoka to be the main for presidency. Where does that leave Martha Karua? See the conflict? Okay? So it's a very tricky situation for Azimio, okay? But as I told you, Raila knows something that we don't. That's why he's back to his constituency, because he understands these guys are about to jump ship. It's either Kalonzo who will go first. Martha Karua, I think, is on her way out. You see, he's not making a lot of public public appearances where Raila is. He's not, okay? But let me tell you something that's happened. It's good. That's why the importance of this NADCO to these Azimio guys. This whole thing, the NADCO that's happening. Remember, I told you the NADCO thing is not about cost of living or Kenya Kwanza patching things up with Azimio, okay? This NADCO thing is about BBI. You know that, okay? So it is in the best interest of Azimio, because this is what will galvanize them, okay? Because in this NADCO talks, they are going to design the next government, okay, before or after 2027, that will include, you hear them talk about inclusivity. All of them, they're talking about inclusivity. If you hear that, Wandani and all of that, they're talking about, the key word now is inclusivity, okay? Not inclusivity, that it is not about representation of every sector of the country. No. This is about these politicians being given position to keep everyone happy, okay? On the Azimio side and also Kenya Kwanza side. Of course, the Kenya Kwanza are not happy about this, and most Kenyans are also not happy with this. Even ODM people are not happy with, the supporters are not happy with this, because they feel like this is another form of handshake. But listen to me carefully, okay? Raila understands that if he endorses Kalonzo, Martha will be gone. If he endorses Martha, Kalonzo will be gone. If he runs by himself, Kalonzo will be gone. Okay? So he's going to lose either way. The only way he can have a win-win situation is this. If he convinces these two, okay, and make an arrangement with Kenya Kwanza in this NADCO talks to have this so-called inclusivity positions, where maybe they can make Martha Karua the cabinet minister of something, and Kalonzo can be made the whatever cabinet minister of something, and Raila can be made the head of the opposition. So everyone in that case has a position. Kila mtu anakula, okay? So everyone will not complain, because these guys, all they want is cheo. They don't really care about what they are doing. They care about having an office, bendera, cheo, money. This is all it comes down to. These guys are not, they're not ideologically principled, okay? They don't have a philosophy. They don't run on that. They just want positions, na hiyo cheo, na clapping and red carpet and cars and bodyguards and cameras in their faces, okay? Every day headlines, making headlines. They don't care about anything. So what I'm trying to say is this. Raila's best bet, because ODM is the main party in Azimio right now as we speak, okay? So he has to strengthen ODM, because the Owalos and Omolos, that's CS Omolo, these guys are making inroads in Nyanza province, providing services for the people on the behalf of Kenya Kwanza. And that is a threat to ODM, okay? That is a threat on the ODM, okay? And also, he understands that without this BBI kind of arrangement with NADCO, on Kenya Kwanza, these talks, NADCO discussions with Kenya Kwanza, without that, ODM is doomed. Azimio is already dead, and ODM is doomed. You have people who want to, probably he will kick out Wakina Yalas, he will kick out Ojienda and all of them, bring in some fresh people. But there will be resentment, especially after the primaries. You know how it goes. There'll be resentment. And that resentment will brew a divide, fragment ODM by itself. Those people who feel rejected, guess who they'll turn to? They'll turn to the Owalos. They will turn to Kenya Kwanza as a way of saying, you know what? I wasn't nominated. I didn't get anything. I'm going to Kenya Kwanza. So that will weaken ODM even within Nyanza province. So Raila sees this and is like, you know what? Let me solidify my bedroom, because not only that is Azimio fragmented, ODM is under attack too. And ODM is his party. That is his brainchild. He cannot afford to lose his base, okay? Let alone Nairobi, let alone Mombasa. Because, again, I pose this question. How popular is ODM outside of Nyanza province? You can argue maybe Nairobi and some pockets in Mombasa, what, Northeastern, whatever. No, the other places, Kenya Kwanzas everywhere. Yes, Kenya Kwanza are performing terribly, okay, as far as governance. But these guys, they have the money and they have the influence, and they seem to be intact. Even if they are messing up, you don't hear a lot of makelele. The only makelele you hear is maybe Murkomen and Cheragay, when they were arguing about Nandi, the statements that Cheragay said about Nandi looking after their all interest, okay? But other than that, Kenya Kwanza is wako pamoja. They're just sticking together, even though they're performing very poorly as far as matters governance, okay? So that's what I'm saying. These guys are on life support. Azimio is done as a coalition party. It is just a matter of time. And their only survival is dependent, fully dependent on this NADCO BBI kind of arrangement. And what will help, that's why I keep on telling you, a Mandamano will be very important for ODM. Mandamano will be very important for Azimio. Because if they go to Mandamano, they understand that most Kenyans are not happy with the cost of living, among other things, whether it's taxes or whatever the case is. So if they go to Mandamano, that will be a way of galvanizing this Azimio coalition, because of course, everyone, okay, everyone and their mama will be interested to participate in this Mandamano, as to be seen as people who said something against the cost of living, because that's the hot button issue, okay? So that will bring out the Martha Karua, that will bring the Kioni, the Eugene Wamalwas, you know, this the Kalonzo Musyoka, you know. So this Mandamano is important for Raila Odinga. That's why you see they have to have it. They have to have it, because this is what will bring them together, so they can show the nation that they're still together. But in reality, these guys are fragmented, and Azimio is virtually done. You don't hear about, when was the last time you heard from Jubilee? Okay, now for those people who think that Central Province will vote for Raila Odinga or ODM come 2027, think again, okay? Politics is about perception. Politics is about perception. I'll ask you this. When someone says Kenya Kwanza and someone says Azimio, what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? If someone says ODM, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? When you hear ODM, the first thing that comes to your mind is Baba, Raila Odinga, right? Every politician that grabs the podium and talks, they always Baba this, Baba that, Baba this, Baba that. They don't have a plan. It's Baba this, Baba that. Baba has been there for us. Baba has been fighting for us. Baba has gone to Mandamano. Baba has done that. But nobody is coming with an idea. How can we tusaidia serikali namna gani? How can we help this government? Not necessarily Kenya Kwanza government, but I'm talking about how can we help the wananchi, alleviate the problems that wananchi are facing. All you hear is, just like I was listening to Sifuna when he was giving his speech in, was it somewhere, wherever ODM were. And all he said is, Baba alinitoa nikiwa mtoto, nikiwa 35 years old, miaka 35, akaniweka the ODM Secretary General, Baba akafanya hivi, the next whatever came from Kisii. His speech was all, Baba alifanya hivi, Baba kanitoa hivi, Baba kanipeleka hivi, Baba alitusaidia hivi. The next speaker, Baba alifanya Baba. It's all wrapped up around one person. There's no idea. They're not giving anything. Okay? At least Kenya Kwanza, if you look at them, you'll hear them say, oh, we're trying to do this. Even though most of it is nonsense, mwongo, but you can hear them talk about issues, how they're tackling. Okay, we are taxing the people so we can do it. Ni uongo, lakini you can see that they're standalone politicians. They're individual by themselves. You know, wanajizungumzia. It's not like a cult. ODM is almost like a cult. You have to mention Baba's name. No one has an idea of his own. You can't finish a statement without saying Raila Odinga. That is the perception. I'm not saying whatever, but that's the perception. From an outsider looking in, that's the perception. Nothing goes in ODM without, if you don't name Baba in your sentence, umeenda. Okay? And these young folks, because you have to remember, for every 5 years, these young folks that are growing up, okay, they have a very different view of, they're not looking at politics the way we used to look at politics in the 1980s. They have a very different, they have Twitter, they have all this social media, and they have divergent views in the internet. So they can actually see the bull crap out of it. You know, they're like, why should, you know, this sounds like a cult. Like, you know, unajua kina Ruto, even Ruto if akona uongo, but, you know, if you look at ODM and, I mean, Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, they seem to be, even though wakona upuzi mingi, maurongo, and all that, but you can see that these guys they're kind of young. They kind of, you know, they're not all worshiping Ruto, okay? The president. No. They look young, like they're trying to do something, but they're failing. But you can see that they're relatively young compared to ODM or Azimio. Because if you look at Azimio, you look at Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, these guys, tulianza kusikia majina zao since we were kids, okay? Since we were 2 years old in diapers, we heard about Raila Odinga, ODM, and Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua. Like they're old folks with the same crap. And these are the people who are still there. And if you listen to their speech, they can't finish a sentence without worshiping Raila Odinga. So you're looking at this as a young person, you're like, bro, can you have something better? Because that's what I'm telling you. Even if Kenya Kwanza is performing as badly as they are right now, the alternative is worse. Because these guys, all they talk about is Baba. I'm sorry. Baba is not the silver bullet to our problems. Okay? Baba will not bring the cost of living up. Give me some real, realistic, pragmatic, practical, applicable solution. Mandamano is not it. Okay, we shall go to Mandamano. So most people will come out in Mandamana because they want to tell Ruto to send a message to Ruto that, hey, we are tired of these lies, we are tired of this cost of living, whatever. But the alternative, they don't necessarily look at the Azimio ODM people as the solution. Because all they hear is Baba will do this, Baba. And we all know one person cannot fix this. It's not a silver bullet. That's why I'm saying politics is all about perception. If people look at you and they're looking at this as a cult, and like I say, these guys don't care about themselves. They don't care about the party or anything. They're looking at the best avenue to get power. That's why Kalonzo will probably, once Kalonzo realizes that Baba will not endorse him, he will leave. Okay? And same thing with Martha Karua. That's why she formed that Kamwene with Kioni. They want to stay there as whatever. So that's what I'm saying. The best bet for Raila Odinga is to get into a coalition with the president. Okay? But it will not happen until there's a Mandamano. I told you, they have to create a crisis in order to make the people on their side, on the other side, to accept that. Okay? Wataanza walete mizozo hapo kwa hii Mandamano. Alafu watu wakishauana, they'll say, you know what, for us to have peace between these two camps, let's have this BBI that Nadko is talking about. Let's give positions to our Kina Kalonzo so that we can have peace. They have to create that crisis because they'll use the same argument they used in 2017 and 2007. They will be like, you heard Kalonzo say, you know, if it wasn't for that handshake, Kenya would have been in war. That's what they want to use. But in reality, that is not true. But they will use that without the handshake, Kenya will be in war. That's what they're going to sell us after the Mandamano, so that you accept the handshake by arguing that the handshake is a way of averting war or civil war. That's what they will use. But in summation, Azimio is playing defense. Azimio is already fragmented. It's already done. These guys are toast. Azimio doesn't exist. It's only ODM. Okay? So anyway, if you agree with what I say or disagree, comment, share, like, subscribe to my channel. This is my name. Find me on YouTube. This is Kenya Revolutionary. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I will talk to you guys later. Peace and blessings.